Welcome back to NJBIA's Mind Your Business. I'm Bob Considine. Well, we recently had the great opportunity to visit beautiful Morven Museum in Princeton. Currently, there is an incredible exhibit that showcases how New Jersey-born creations came to be the building blocks of today's technology. It's called Mabel, the Mother of Invention in New Jersey, and it was made possible by ATT. Let's get more of the 411 from Elizabeth Allen and Jesse Gordon at Morven Museum. Check it out. So, Elizabeth and Jesse, thank you so much for having us here at the Morven Museum and Garden for what's called the Mabel, Mother of Invention in New Jersey exhibit. How long has it been here, this exhibit?
We opened in March of this year, and we'll be on booth in March of next year.
And what kind of feedback have you got?
It's been great so far.
Yeah.
We've had great visitorship and lots of great memories shared. Our idea at the beginning was really a personal feeling.
Yeah, our hope was that people would really have a personal connection to this, and we've really seen that through a special memory board that we have in the hallway where people can leave memories of their experiences or the family members that worked for Mabel.
Yeah, I saw that. We'll get to that memory board in a little bit, but I'm curious to see how important it is that this exhibit is here with New Jersey's history and communications and telecommunications.
Yeah, so our mission for these second floor galleries, which host changing shows, is to showcase the cultural heritage of New Jersey. And this is really our first New Jersey tech show.
Right.
We've done fine arts, decorative arts, regular history shows. So when Jesse had this idea, it was like, can we do tech in New Jersey? Is there enough of a story there?
Great idea.
Yeah.
Great idea. And did you find that the response was pretty immediate? Like maybe you were getting clientele in here that maybe hadn't been here before.
Yeah, so we have a bunch of new people, and a new crowd that's coming in based on this new topic that we haven't really touched on, as Beth said. We've had a lot of people that are interested in technology. We've had people and friends that have worked for Mabel in the past. A lot of former employees have come, and I think this is their first visit to Morven.
Right. What were the companies featured that really put New Jersey on the technology map? What companies are we learning about here?
So we're learning about really the three parts of the Bell system. So our first piece is AT&T. Our first New Jersey connection is Theodore Vail, who was a New Jersey guy. And then we go into the Western Electric plants. The second one was in New Jersey. It's early beginning to the history of Western Electric. And then our third piece is the Bell Telephone Laboratories. And they had places in New Jersey almost as soon as Bell Telephone Laboratories had started in the 1920s. So New Jersey was in the mix from the get-go.
It's amazing when you think about the groundwork that was laid. Like as we were checking this place out, I'm taking my cell phone out and taking pictures. I'm like, this cell phone would have never happened as if what had not happened here in New Jersey in the past. Is that correct?
Yeah, and that was a funny story when we were writing the text. We were writing about the transistor, and we had a label saying in some iPhones there's over 11 billion. And the editor was saying, no, that's got to be a mistake. He must mean million. And we were like, no, it's billion, which is impossible to even imagine.
What have you found to be some of the more exhibits here, artifacts, I should say, that have really surprised people?
Yeah, so we have exhibits as early as an 1880s telephone pole, which is kind of run of the mill. But then Jessie did a phenomenal job. She found a ping pong paddle that belonged to Jansky, who we're sitting beneath.
Right.
She tracked down loans from MIT. And then through the crowdsourcing thing, we found more artifacts. One is the Telstar drawing, which is a drawing done by a draftsman who now lives in Middletown. Who let us borrow it for the show, but he was in Hillside Plant drawing it as they were building it.
So when you have the idea to have this exhibit here and you have to, I guess, curate, if that's a verb, I assume it is, how long, what is the time frame when you get the idea to collecting all this stuff? How long does it take?
Well, we started in 2019 when we were throwing the exhibit idea around to our collection committee. And we realized, this is going to be a great story to tell.
Right.
We read John Gertner's book, Idea Factory. That was really the basis for knowing that there's a lot of story to tell. And then AT&T Archives and History Center really opened their doors to us. And that's when we knew that there was going to be definitely enough stuff, more than enough stuff to show in an exhibit.
At some point, you're probably like, this is never going to end. Let's just get the stuff up.
Endless things to read about the Bell system. They put out so many technical papers contemporary to all of the inventions made. So there's, any piece of history in this room, there's probably 10 pages written on it from
Wow.
the
Were you
scientists.
both pleasantly surprised that you can actually find this stuff and get it in here?
Yeah, it's always the biggest challenge. It's easy to come up with an idea,
Yeah.
but is it really an exhibit and not a book or an article? And
Yeah.
that's the stuff. So as Jesse said, without AT&T Archive, we walked in there, we're like, oh, there's stuff, there's photos, there's objects, and it was hard to
Right.
cut it off.
Yeah.
Big shout out to AT&T, a sponsor of My New Business, and who obviously helped out with this quite a great deal, right?
Yeah, big
Yeah, we
time.
couldn't have done it without them.
Yeah. I wanted to. This place is loaded with factoids. Like, you could spend a long time in here. I was going to read a few of them to you and see what your reaction is. In the first 2 years of, telephone service, there were as many wires as there were telephones. So each subscriber had to be connected individually to one another. Is that correct?
Yeah, so in my tour, I sort of explained, a way to think about it is just think of the mess under your desk when you have all kinds of your laptop hooked up and your keyboard and
Right.
everything. It's like that times a million.
Right.
So that's where the switchboard came in, and the switchboard is the invention that helped consolidate all of those wires.
Right. And then 1929, any North American call placed in Europe or Africa was transmitted through Lawrenceville. I guess there's a pole field. Is that what it's called?
All far.
Pole farm.
Yeah.
Everyone should have it.
No, it's true. And so I've worked here for 12 years, and multiple times people said, oh, you should do a show on the pole farm. And I honestly didn't really know what it was until we really dug into it here. And it's incredible local to Princeton history that it's now a Mercer County park,
Right.
but once was the site of every transatlantic phone call.
And Elizabeth, I can't believe the photographs that are of that pole farm. It's amazing. Okay, Project Echo. Is this what? This is the onset of the satellite era, right?
Yes, this is the precursor to the Telstar. It was the experimental satellite to see if even bouncing a signal off of something in space would work. So it was sort of seen almost as a piece of science fiction, but it actually did work. It was a giant silvery mylar balloon that they sent up.
It's fascinating. This is all New Jersey, pretty much, right?
Yes.
All of it.
Wow. And then I had an interesting run-in. There's something called the Rising Sun magnetron, which I guess generates microwaves for radar. While we were here earlier, there's a picture of a gentleman by the name of Sid Millman, who was kind of the creator of this rising star magnetron. And the person who was looking at his picture and this information happened to be his niece from a couple of generations ago. That happened while we were here.
No way.
Does that happen? Have you heard stories like that?
Wow.
Well, we actually heard from Sidney, or about Sidney Millman from his family, and
Right.
so his niece was one of the ones that wrote in about him. They gave a lovely story about how much he loved opera and how he had emigrated from Russia and all of these things. And he also helped found cooperative research fellowship programs that got more people involved with the Bell system.
Mhm.
So yeah,
She was here.
Yeah, it's amazing. And I was also, I understand it was Morven ran a crowdsourced campaign a couple summers ago to invite former Bell System employees, Elizabeth, I think you mentioned this earlier, to share their stories and experiences. What kind of feedback did you guys get?
This was really Jesse's idea, and
Okay.
it was brilliant because from the get-go, we're saying there's tens of thousands of New Jerseyans that are connected to the Bell system.
Right.
And Jesse was saying, how do we do it? So I'll let Jesse talk about it.
So this was summer of 2021. We reached out through newspapers and our website to ask if anybody had pictures or stories. We knew people would want to tell their stories.
Mhm.
And we got over 50 people responding before the fall even. We had people that were laser scientists, operators, family of linemen, all of that. Like Beth was saying, the man who drew the Telstar, draftsman drawings even responded to us. So we had all kinds of different kinds of people respond.
How was the crowdsourcing done? Was it through the computer, or did people had to type in a form? How did you receive? Was it letters? Was it phone calls?
It was sort of a mix of everything.
Okay.
We had people type in through our website, but you could also just email me. I got a few phone calls, and it was lovely to talk to everyone. A ton of people had really, really fond memories of
Again, it
working.
was a pleasant surprise, right? to
Yeah,
get over.
definitely.
And also occasionally, since this exhibit has been here at Morven Museum Garden, you occasionally have scientists or former scientists coming, right? What's that like, first of all, for the audience that comes, but also for the scientists that come?
Yeah. I mean, that was our goal early on. We thought, oh my gosh, we could have so many great programs related to this. And we kind of had a dream list of things that we might do. And so far, so many of them have come to pass. And it's been really incredible for us to have these people on site, seeing our work. It's a little nerve-wracking.
Yeah, I'm sure.
But they, I think, have enjoyed celebrating this chapter of their lives. And I would say most part are incredibly humble, and people you wouldn't know are totally brilliant and beyond.
Yeah, there was one, but a lady, a scientist by the name of Marion Croak, I believe was her name. And she was here to explain how at the forefront of the technology, where she was at the forefront of the technology where people could actually speak on video through a computer.
Right.
Could you imagine if that had not happened, especially during COVID, when everybody was speaking through a computer?
Yeah.
Is that lost on Ms. Croak? I mean, did she even recognize that?
No, and so one of the things that she said that left the room dumbfounded is that no one thought it could be done.
Right.
And she really said, I really thought it could be done. And like just quietly continued. And she had a supervisor who told her, you know, your voice and your ideas matter. Right. And she kept on. And the irony is that Jesse and I started this before 2020. And then wrote and thought about all of this almost entirely on Zoom for over a year and a half.
So I want to go over, you mentioned earlier, Jesse, the memories of Ma Bell, which are on the wall behind us here. I wanted to read one of them. This was somebody who actually did not have a memory, but wanted to say, I had never been here before today. This was an amazing experience. Thanks for the history, signed Julia. When you read that or hear that, what kind of reaction do you get?
I mean, it's really makes it worth it to hear people relating to the content, to know that we've sort of brought something new to someone, and to hear that people that even if you don't have a personal connection, you can still appreciate it. And it makes it, you know, I don't know. Sorry, I don't know.
No, we say New Jersey doesn't have broad shoulders in terms of its pride and history. And every exhibit we do, we try to kind of show there's a lot that happened here and it's worth learning about and celebrating. So that's our mission. So thank you, Julia.
All right, thanks to Morven Museum, and please do check out Ma Bell, the Mother of Invention in New Jersey. And thank you for joining us on NJBIA is My New Business. We'll see you next time.